Next up at UFC 308, we have the latest addition to the card. Rinat Fakhretdinov taking on short notice Carlos Leal. It's not Leal, it's Leal. Rinat Fakhretdinov, 23-2 in his career, 4-0-1 in his last 5. He is riding an 18-fight win streak. Short notice Carlos Leal, 21-5 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. And as I mentioned, he's stepping in on about a week's notice here.
He was already scheduled for a fight.
Not on this card, though.
But I think this weekend, it's in. He was already in Saudi Arabia too, I believe. So
Abu Dhabi,
whatever.
Rinat is a non-stop wrestler. He'll throw absolute haymaker bombs on his feet. He is willing to strike and then just constant forward pressure. Throw those big 1-2s, bend over, grab a leg, and just run right through it. When he gets on top, he's going to pound away. He's looking for a TKO, not really looking for submissions. And even though he has power in his hands, even though he has high-level wrestling, he's not a finisher. And he does fade as the fight goes on. He's coming off that close decision win over Nicholas Dalby, where he dropped Nicholas, and then in typical Rinat fashion, fade as the fight went on. Taking on Carlos Leal. This is his UFC debut, but he is a veteran of the sport. He's fought all over the world in some of the largest promotions outside of the UFC. Style-wise, dangerous Muay Thai guy. He is not afraid to engage. His forward pressure and open hand stance do leave him open to get kicked, but he is durable enough to hang. He's got grappling as well, but it is squarely his backup plan. Takedown defense just okay. Mostly strength defense, right? He's just being strong, hooking, pushing, and stuffing. He's not really using clean technique or scramble skills. Carlos is going to be strong early, certainly dangerous on his feet, but his takedown defense is just not good enough here. I think Rinat's going to smoke him. His cardio is always a concern, but I do think short notice, a big step up, UFC debut, that helps Rinat here. Rinat's going to be the pick, and I think he's very affordable right now. He's not parlayable, at least not as I'm recording this or as we're live at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, just because BetOnline has him locked, but he's only minus 235. You can see he opened as a bigger favorite than that. The line movement is actually surprising to me. Like, I get it. Carlos has a ton of experience. He's been all over the world. He doesn't really defend takedowns well, and that's kind of what you need to do here. What do you think, Jakey Boom Balats?
Yeah, I actually agree with the line movement. I mean, Carlos Leal is a very, very solid fighter in my mind. He's a pressure guy. I think Rinat is not the same type of wrestler when you're pressuring him, whether he compared to when he can pressure you and get that space that he needs to shoot those takedowns. And honestly, I fucking hate Rinat at this point. I mean, he had that one fight. I can't remember if it was the draw or the Dolby fight or whatever it was, where he was almost hurt, finished, and after the fight, he almost lost the fight, and then he's just like laughing and joking and high-fiving. It's like, dude, you almost lost his what kind of fucking mindset is this? Ever since I saw that, I'm like, this guy cannot be fucking trusted at all, because it looked like he honestly didn't give a shit that he almost lost that fucking fight. He was just in there having fun, which is good. You know, hats off to him for having fun. I want a fucking killer, especially when you're trying to move into this division, especially when you're against these kind of short notice fighters. Or not just isn't that guy. He's got power. He kind of trusts that power too much. And if he gets in a situation where he's going to need to get desperate with those takedowns against Carlos, this isn't Nicholas Dalby. This is a guy that can have real power as you make those entries, knows how to grapple and defend those takedowns if they are desperate, which Rinat kind of gets in that mode where he's just shooting those crazy, desperate takedowns. I think this fight is going to be razor thin. I think it's going to come down to what kind of mood the judges are in, right? Are they going to reward Rinat for all that desperation? Are they going to reward a guy like Carlos, who I think is going to be able to survive early and kind of defend stuff late and be able to kind of maybe point fight? So I kind of agree with these odds. My pick is going to be Rinat, because I think that he's just going to be still relentless enough to kind of get that decision, but I don't see him dominating this fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos pulls this out.
Yeah, I don't think Carlos is going to win this fight. I think his aggressive striking is actually going to be his undoing, and I think he'll get frustrated as the fight goes on, just taking down.
Would.
But obviously, Rinat not being a finisher is a bit concerning, right? I wish he was a finisher. Over 2.5, probably a pretty safe play here if you don't trust the money line on either side, because, I mean, Carlos could knock out Rinat, but if that happens, you got bigger issues anyway. Maybe Carlos inside the distance decision, no action, is a solid bet. So I'll take a look at that when that drops.
I'm looking at plus 3.5 when it drops for sure for Carlos.
You think he can steal a round? I would rather do inside the distance decision, no action, because he's not going to get finished.
Rinat's tough.
Yeah, then you get a full refund. I guess we'll see all those.
I think it's a close fight.
I guess we'll find out when that drops. Carlos is good, and he's been around the block. He's fought in some large promotions. It's not just some bullshit hollow record that, oh, look where I am now. $8,900.
Two of his losses are to that Psy dude who's like a fucking 7 foot tall, just wild fucking striker who can also wrestle and grapple and too. So, I mean, he's got 5 losses, but 2 of those are the same guy. It's a really hard guy to fight. So, I mean, this guy's good.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I do think Rinat, I want to say dominates, but dominates like Rinat does, just lots and lots of takedowns. Therefore, I do think the $8,900 in DraftKings Fantasy is worth it. Rinat puts up numbers. It's just takedown, takedown, takedown. And if you get somebody as tough and as durable as Carlos, you're even better to get the points in DraftKings Fantasy because we just have more takedowns. The Prize Picks line that I put out for premium members, I did the Rinat over 4 takedowns. I think he's going to get 5 or 6 takedowns in this fight because Carlos is going to keep scrambling, keep making stuff happen, get taken down again. And I think that's what this fight's going to look like. That's my DraftKings Fantasy lineup, but it doesn't have to be yours. You can use the tools to build your own. You also can just have full access to every single bet that we place, and we have been dominating. I am up good money 7 of the last 8 events. UFC Paris was the only one that gave me a hard time. The rest of those have been smooth sailing. WeWantPicks.com, click Becoming Members, $10 for an entire month, and that month includes UFC 308, 2 really good fight nights, and then UFC 309 on the back end.